We're just gonna go from here.
Okay.
So, bro, this is a very exciting time in your life to have a kid literally in 2 days.
Yeah, well, I mean, it still feels surreal. The other day we were saying it's like 9 months to go, and now, I mean, with COVID and everything, time just went incredibly fast. And I mean, we were very blessed that you could like actually work from home.
Yes.
And it was very comfortable for her. So yeah, like you said, in 2 days I'll be a father.
Sure, bro. Congrats on that.
Thanks so
So
much.
I was away in Paris this weekend at the
yeah.
Vol, and I actually found this magazine. So it's actually perfect to.
Well,
for those
thanks for
people,
buying one,
for those people that are watching the video, here's Matthew on the cover, bro. So do you want to introduce yourself and just explain in a brief summary who you are?
Okay. First of all, thanks for having me, Jess.
Of course.
I mean, I think I'm one of your million followers on
I wish there was a million.
Jess the Fit Radio. So I hope I pronounced that right.
It's fine, yeah. So Jess the Fit is the online training.
Okay, the
Jess the Radio is the podcast, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I've been listening to a few of them. And it's actually quite cool to be on one. So yeah, thanks for that opportunity. Just to get back, I'm Matthew Larkins. Obviously, we know each other through the fitness industry. He was the guy that stole the pro card in 2015 from me at JC Pretorius. So it meant that I had to prep for another year and go through all of that for another year just to get mine. But eventually we did it. Occupational wise, I'm a lawyer. I do family and criminal law, and then I also have a events company that I've been doing for 8 years. So
Explain that events company.
Okay, what we basically do is we do the public bars for whoever wants to be in a JV with us. Usually, the contracts we have now is with big concerts. So we do the big, whenever they bring in an international artist, we would do the public bars for them at like Soccer City. I think most of them took place there. We've done a lot. We've done Metallica, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Bon Jovi, Justin Bieber, Lady Gaga, Rihanna, you name it, every single show that's been here. We did Guns N' Roses and Global Citizen. So basically what it consists out of is we set up the public bars with either Heineken or SAB, whoever the pouring partner is. And then, we get the bar staff in and we sell beer to the public.
Obviously now that's been on all shutdown or literal lockdown.
Yes. So since March, I mean, we also have the contract with Wondrous. It's out on tender again now. And then we do the Joburg Days, Durban July. So, I mean, all of those events were cancelled since March. So that side of the industry is a bit on hold now.
But people are still getting divorced, bro.
Well,
if not more so now after being together in a cooped up area.
No, definitely. Sad to say, but I mean, that puts the bread on the table, Jess. So, family law and criminal law. I'll say that's a very big passion of mine. Like my dad's been a lawyer for 38 years. My sister's an advocate. So
is that why you got into it?
I guess that's why. Yeah, it runs in the family. So very passionate about law. Love what I do, and that's basically me in a nutshell.
And bro, so obviously you having these two different companies and you compete and everything. When you started competing, you were already obviously working and everything. So it wasn't like you finished studying, thought, okay, I'm going to make money of competing.
No, that was never a thought. The thing is, why I actually started competing was because of health problems. I wasn't allowed to do any more contact sports, so I needed something to keep myself busy. We'll get into that later.
Yeah.
So I tried the fitness industry. Some of the people might know my brother-in-law, George Howell. So he was actually the one that got me into the fitness industry because I was quite frustrated with myself. I couldn't do anything. I'm on a certain medication called warfarin. It's a blood thinner. People call it rat poison because it actually consists out of some rat poison in there.
And that's because of your heart?
Yes, that's because of my heart. So I was quite frustrated, and I met George, and he took me on, and I started with him in 2014 when I was I think I was in my last year of law. Never thought I'll make anything out of it, but I was always competitive and I just wanted something to keep myself busy. And he took me on, and end of that year, at the end of 2014, we competed in Body Beautiful, and everything started from from there on.
So what was the issue with your heart? And I mean, because I mean, it's an amazing story how you've been able to, you know, build this amazing physique even with all these setbacks.
Thanks, JC.
Of course.
Well, I got some unfortunate news when I was in grade 8. Just getting into high school, excited. And then I was just sitting at home, and I was a very active person at that stage. I tried to do everything, and I told my mom, listen, I'm numb the whole time, and I'm struggling to breathe, but it wasn't that severe back then, and it just got worse and worse and worse. And at the end of the day, I told my mom, listen, can we just go see a doctor? And the funny thing is, before going to high school, my hands are always like a bit sweaty, and because I'm left-handed.
I'm also left-handed.
Oh,
That's
really?
cool to me. So
Yes.
it's very few people that are actually left-handed.
Exactly. So I'm left-handed, so you'll know the struggle. As soon as your hand is a bit, wet or something, it smudges all over the page.
Writing on birthday cards is the worst.
I never do it.
I have to write backwards when I write on birthday cards.
That's why I got married.
Yeah, she can do it for you.
Exactly. So, nevertheless, my mom and I went to go see a doctor, and he was actually going to cut out my sweat glands, and he told me that there's no need for that now. You actually got a leak in your aortic valve, but they're just going to monitor it. So they kept a close eye on me, and standard 6 came. My hands are still sweaty at the moment. We never fixed that because there were more severe problems, and I think the middle of that year, they admitted me, and I got my first open heart surgery at the age of 14. The operation was about 95% successful. What they tried to do is they tried to repair my valve, because luckily my heart was fully grown and the size of an adult heart. So they literally tried to repair the valve, but unfortunately 2 years later, it was the same problem over again, because I was actually an amateur wrestler my whole life. I wrestled for 15 years.
Sure.
Yeah, got my South African colours.
So was that the contact sport you weren't allowed to play? Was there rugby as well?
Played rugby as a kid, did athletics, did karate for fitness. But wrestling was my main sport. I mean, that's where I prospered in. So after my first operation, I was in hospital for 3 days. After my first open heart surgery, walked out, and 3 months after that, I went back wrestling again. And unfortunately got a bump on the chest, and the stitches pulled loose, and that's why I had to go in for a second op, which was a bit more complicated due to them actually replacing the aortic valve with a titanium.
Sure.
Yeah, so it sounds like, if you put your ear close enough to my heart, it actually sounds like I've swallowed a clock.
Yes.
You can actually hear the ticking. Yeah, and because of that, my blood has to be on a certain level. I go for blood test every second week, and my blood has to be between 2.8, they call it the INR. It has to be between 2.5 and 3.5. That's the thickness of the blood, so that it monitors.
What's do you know the normal level?
I do not know the normal level, surprisingly.
Yeah. So you're on blood thinners.
Yeah, it's called warfarin.
And if you get a nosebleed or something, does it just keep on bleeding?
Just keep on bleeding. Like, I'm actually very fragile at the moment. So if I get into a fight, for instance, and somebody just hits me the wrong way, I'll get a blood cloth, and it will shoot through my heart or through my brain. So I try to sidestep all. Keep
it peaceful.
Exactly. There's no confrontation with me. So yeah, because it's my health. I mean, that's your first priority when it comes to that. So long story short, had the second open heart surgery when I was 16, and no more contact sport, no more anything. And then I met my brother-in-law, and we got into the fitness industry. And since then, it gave me some purpose in life again.
And the doctors never said, like, you can't train or...
Yeah, thanks for asking that, Jess. I almost forgot that. My cardiologist told me that I'll never be able to train again. I'm never allowed to lift weights above my head.
Sure.
All due respect to the doctors. I mean, they are the experts when it comes to this, but... sometimes you just have to dig deep, and you have to self-reflect. And I mean, nobody knows your body better than you actually do. And knowing myself, I just couldn't sit still, and I tried, and that's why I say I had a very great mentor when it came to George. He was excellent with me. He never pushed me too far. When I got tired, I rest, you know.
How do you reach that limit though, that you know, like, okay, I'm tired, but that's just, everyone feels this tiredness, kind of push through it? Or I'm tired, if I push more, it's going to damage my heart?
No, Jesse, I could actually see my scar turning purple.
Jeez.
And actually getting a few pains, and then I knew.
Okay.
So for me, I wouldn't know when the limit was, but...
until your body physically was like, bro, stop.
Exactly. It was quite obvious with me because my scar where they actually cut the sternum, it would like turn purple.
Sure.
And I would get
Does it still do that?
Yeah, it does. I mean, when I push hard,
yeah.
But I try to not look at it so I can finish the set.
So how, obviously, have you ever had any set like limitations in terms of your heart, the scar starts to turn purple before you actually can go past what you want to be able to force yourself to grow? Because I mean, in competing or whatever, you have to kind of push yourself. Does your heart go stop? Does it tell you to stop before you've actually hit your physical limit, or is it, are you able to push further than the average person? Because I mean, you look amazing, so clearly you can kind of see that you are able to still push super hard in the gym.
I mean, I must say that's where the competitive side comes in, and sometimes I do push myself beyond the limit, but I do suffer the consequences afterwards. I mean, it's hard. I would feel fatigued the whole day. For me, it's difficult, but I've got so used to it, and I don't like people to think that shame.
Yeah.
I don't want that. I don't want the sympathy, because it's just it was just a cut on my chest, and I deal with it the way I do. And at the end of the day, I know where the limits are, and I just have to keep that in the back of my mind. Because like I said, my health is my first priority.
Yeah, of course. Especially now that you've got a family.
Exactly. And just to get back to your question, limitations, definitely. I know exactly when to stop. Unfortunately, to get back to the fitness industry, some people prep for 8 weeks, some people prep for 12 weeks. Unfortunately, I'm that guy that preps for 6 months.
Okay.
Due to the fact that I just can do a certain amount of cardio, and I can only go train those many times a week.
What is the amount of cardio you're able to do?
Well, the thing is, I can't push my heart rate where a normal person push it into the fat burning zone.
Yes, yeah.
So for me, it's like more walking, and it takes longer for me to get in shape due to the fact that I can't push myself over the limit.
So what is your advised limit on your heart rate?
Well, I try to keep it below 120. Actually, it's been staying there. I mean, my resting heart rate at the moment, I don't know if it's because of the valve, it's around 49, 50 beats per minute. So that's one thing that I monitor very closely, is my heart rate. So that's.
But you're also always lean, so obviously not being able to do too much cardio, you obviously have to be very strict to your diet.
Yeah, no, definitely. And to be completely honest with you, is I think that the last time I actually did a prep was 2016.
Okay.
I don't know if it's the superhuman medication that I'm taking that keeping my blood thin. I don't know if I was blessed with genetics,
yes, Yeah.
But yeah, Jesse, and I mean, you can ask anybody, the last time I literally had a meal prep plan was the year I competed in 2016.
So now you're not meal prepping. What does the diet look like?
Well, my diet looks like the following. Okay, so in the morning I will have oats, and I'll put some Future Life Crunch with the oats. And then Jesse, I'm very bad with eating these days. I mean, I've lost a lot of weight, and I lost a lot of size, but I mean, it doesn't faze me as much
different
as
priorities.
Yes, exactly. I mean, work. You can't blame work, and you can't blame family, and you can't blame all of this. If you really want to succeed, you will make time for it. At this moment, to be honest, it's not one of my top priorities. If I can look good for myself and I can stay in shape, and that's all I want to do now. But the diet that I'm on now is non-existent. It's literally oats, and then it's maybe a toasted sami from Vida E Cafe, or a giant muffin from Mug and Bean, and then my wife will make dinner at night, and that's usually healthy, I must say. That's usually chicken or fish, but those meal preps, or those meal 3, 4, 5, 6 during the day, I've completely cut that out. Not that I wanted to, it's just that I don't have time anymore. I mean, you can't sit in court and tell the magistrate or the state prosecutor,
I
listen,
need to chow.
can you just quickly drop my file? I
Yeah.
need to run out to eat. So, like you said, priorities has changed definitely.
How, speaking of being a lawyer, how is that different to what compared to what you see overseas in America, like on TV and everything? Because obviously, like here you've got an advocate, and it's a different thing. It's not like the person you go into the thing to see a lawyer, that person's going to be the one speaking to the judge. How does it work in South Africa?
Well, definitely, yeah. The first difference is we don't have a jury.
Yeah.
So, at the end of the day, if you look at criminal cases, you're usually up against a state prosecutor. So it works in our law. It's not as glamorous as everybody thinks it is. It's not you walk around in court and you scream at everybody and you try to get your point across.
Drop a Harvey Specter line and
exactly.
That's it.
Unfortunately, guys, it's nothing like that. I mean, it's still a privilege and an honor to sit there. And I mean, you still have those traditions where you have to wear your robe, and you call the magistrate by magistrate, and in the high courts, my lord, my lady. And you do stand up, and you still have those traditions that goes on. But if you in a criminal court, I mean, it's you against a state prosecutor. The state prosecutor defend whoever was the complainant, and you defend your client. If you're a defense attorney, your client is the accused. So you actually go against the state prosecutor, and that's how it is in the criminal courts. I mean, civil courts, it's you against another lawyer.
So is that yours?
No, I do criminal, and I do criminal, civil, family. So I go like this because the courts that I'm used to, downstairs is criminal and upstairs is civil. So in civil matters, you get your client, which is usually the applicant, and you get the respondent, which is the other client, or vice versa, whoever you decide to defend. And that's when you up against a private attorney, and there's obviously a magistrate. But when it comes to criminal cases, like I said, you get the state prosecutor, and in every single court there will be a representative from the state, which you call a state prosecutor.
Okay, and you primarily almost divorce attorney.
Yeah, I mean, I do a lot of divorces. That's more my thing. You call it family law, so anything from divorces to maintenance, to custody, so all those things. And then obviously in criminal, it's you defend your criminals. Yes. If you get charged for something, or if you get locked up for something.
And you say you do that as well?
Yes.
So how do you go about, picking the right, because someone comes to you that you got an issue, or, you kind of look at them like, no, this person is guilty, I can't represent them, it's morally wrong, or how do you judge who you represent or don't?
Well, it's difficult. I mean, a lot of people say, how can you defend a rapist and how can you defend a murderer? But the thing is, I never ask my clients if they're guilty or not. They should tell me.
I guess you can also see through the evidence that you're going to present.
No, definitely. If to be completely honest, it's called ethics. That's actually a subject that you have to study when you write your board exams. So we have a big ethical code when it comes to that. For instance, if you come to me and you say, listen here, Matt, I've messed up seriously, I stabbed my wife. I mean, just example.
An Oscar situation.
I'll tell you, Jesse, you know what? Go turn yourself over to the police, and then I will take on your case, and we'll try to get you a lesser sentence, or we will try to. Then I'll defend you. I can't. You can't give me the knife and say, mate, listen,
let's hide it.
Let's hide it and defend me. There's a lot of people that do it, and there's a lot of people that don't. I would hope that the majority don't, because I mean there is an ethical code, and if you get caught for that, I mean that's why the Law Society is there. People will usually complain to the Law Society, so you have to be very careful. Being a lawyer, I mean, if you don't do your job the way your client wants it, it's easy for them just to run off to the Law Society, and then you can either get scraped or you can get disbarred or what have you. So,
well, everyone was making jokes at the beginning of lockdown that divorce attorneys are going to have a great time now. Have you seen an uptake in business due to people being in a confined environments?
Definitely, JC. I know it's sad, but definitely. I mean, the divorce rate is the highest it's been since 2019. So I think people got fed up, and I mean, it was a difficult situation that we were placed in. I mean, it's a world pandemic, and either you strive from it or you failed at it. I mean, some people just can't be around their loved ones, or they thought they could, but unfortunately they couldn't. And I mean, the divorces we do, some are ugly, some are not. Some of the people just settle, and they get it over and done with. So for those 3 weeks that we were literally so confined and you couldn't go anywhere, I think that's when people actually saw true colors of each other. And we had a lot of divorces that we actually placed on the roll due to COVID. Some of the courts were closed. Higher court, you actually do the divorces over the teams now.
Okay.
Yeah, so the judge will come in and you will sit there and on the other side of the laptop, and you'll actually do divorces via Teams now.
How is that?
It's well, I mean, for me and for us, our generation, our young ones, it's not that bad. But I mean, my wife actually had to help my dad because he's 64.
Yes.
He's been in the practice for, like I said, 38 years. It's just funny to see these old attorneys, you just see their noses.
Yeah,
and,
the camera angles are wrong.
Shame. So they're struggling with technology and, Teams, and they have to load everything onto Caseline, and you literally have to have your court file on Caseline, and to get that into their heads that you can't sit with the originals in front of you. You actually have to submit it to Caseline. It's mind blowing for them, but I mean, we get through. It's the new normal. So my dad's doing his own divorces on Teams now.
Yeah, that's cool.
My wife doesn't have to sit next to him anymore and help him. So I mean, doesn't matter what age you are going to get in with the new trend.
Yeah. But I mean, you would also say that that's fundamental for people that are trying to get in the industry, that they need to have sources of income that isn't anything related to the fitness industry. Because if you have the goal of trying to make money through competing, not even 1 in a million people can do that. There's so few people that actually make money of competing. I mean, you can't win anything from winning a show. I mean, that year you won WFF, did you win anything?
No, JC, absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Just
not even a tub of protein, bro.
Exactly, you got your medal and you got your certificate, and that was it. And I mean, since that day, I haven't competed again because they won't send you overseas.
Yeah.
So I mean, you will know. I mean, how much money you have to fork out of your own pocket just to go compete overseas. That's where my priorities change completely. You will, well, from my personal experience since 2014, I've never made one dime out of the fitness industry. For me,
just lost money.
Exactly. I mean, it costs so much money, and you will know exactly how much it costs leading up to a show. Your diet consists almost out of 14,000 rand a month, and that's excluding your supplements and all of those things. So it's very expensive. It has to be your passion, and it has to be a hobby. It can't be your source of income. And I'm sorry to say that, but only if you take Jaco de Bruin, he's made a living. Because
he's pretty much the only person in South Africa that's done
That's why
it.
you say 1 out of a million. He's a South Africa fitness icon. He's a world icon, fitness icon.
Yeah.
And he's, like you said, he's that 1 in a million that's made it. I mean, not all of us are Jaco de Bruin. So if you look at it from the outside in, get something to fall back on. Put your eggs in different baskets, because I'm telling you now, for me, there has never been a stable source or any income from the fitness industry.
And what would you ever go back on stage? Would you ever try compete again? Maybe, because obviously, your no stress.
Sorry,
because your goals are obviously different now. Do you think maybe after your kids slightly more grown up, you'll try it again?
It's always been in the back of my mind. I've told my wife that as well. That I do want to do one pro show. I really, really want to do one pro show. I just don't know when. I don't want to get a dad bod now,
Yeah, I don't think that's ever going to happen, bro.
So hopefully before I get this dad bod, I would like to step on stage one more time and do a pro show, and then I think I'll call it quits. I'll just maintain and live the life I'm living now.
Yeah. Well, obviously fitness was, you substituted your passion for wrestling and activity for fitness and training. What's your passion now? Have you kind of diversified and put more effort into work, more effort into family?
No, definitely, Jesse. Fitness will always be a passion of mine, but it's not on the top of my priority list at the moment. First on my priority list now is definitely my wife and my baby. My unborn child is going to be here in 2 days.
Sure.
That will be my first priority for the rest of my life. And then also my work. I mean, my wife and I, she's an accountant, so we've got a very good relationship when it comes to working. If work, well, I'm talking about in the past until Wednesday.
Yeah.
We've always had that great connection, and if she needs to work, she works. Our work came first. But I think that's definitely going to change now. I mean, with our little boy coming into this world.
You got a name yet?
It's Matthew.
Matthew, okay, cool.
Yeah, so he's the 5th gen of Matt.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and his second name is Logan. So it will be Matthew Logan Larkins, 5th generation. And he's the first Larkins boy that can carry forward the surname.
Okay,
yes,
sure.
Yeah. So my dad's Matthew, my great-grandfather, my grandfather, my father, myself, and then now our little boy that's coming. It's the 5th gen of Matthew.
Sure. So you actually told me that she was in an unfortunate accident last week. And I mean, that must have been one of the most stressful times in your life, knowing your wife and your newborn.
Yeah, no, I mean, Jesse, that was a very, very big shock for all of us. She phoned me. I was actually in Krugersdorp, and she phoned me because she was driving with my car, the automatic and stuff, because she's highly pregnant. And I was with her car, and I just heard her saying, I rolled the car. And so my mind was racing a million miles an hour, and you always expect the worst and think the worst. So thank God she was okay. The car was hanging on the edge. Literally, the barrier saved the life and the baby's life. So she got out of the car unharmed, and we took her to hospital. And the baby and Jessica, my wife, both of them are 100% healthy. So yeah, there's definitely high power.
And everything's scheduled for Wednesday, all sorted and ready.
She was actually pushing for natural birth, but unfortunately the baby's breech. You will learn those terms.
Yeah, you see, I just hear these words about kids, and I'm like, I know what pregnancy is. That's it.
Your time will come, JC. Let me just tell you what breech means. It means that the head is facing upwards, and the baby hasn't turned into the birth canal. So they have to do a cesarean, and it's scheduled for the 25th of November. Yeah.
And you're going to be in the room there, holding her hand as much as possible.
Yeah, well, definitely. I mean, it has been quite difficult with COVID. I mean, I've missed a few scans, which is quite precious, and I think every father to be would want to see it. But unfortunately, with this times and this pandemic that's been around, I've missed out on a few scans. But we're going for our COVID test tomorrow, and they said they'll allow me into theatre. So,
but let's say, how long will she have to stay at the hospital once she's had the kid?
Well, just with the cesarean, usually it's 2 days, and then she's out.
So will you be able to? Will you just stay there for those 2 days? And
no.
Yeah, because there's no visitors allowed here.
They make exception, and you can go for 1 hour a day. So
okay, as long as you've been tested and you're fine.
Exactly. I'll probably be there Wednesday the whole day because we have to go in early in the morning, and we don't know what time the surgery will take place. So I'll probably be there most of the day on Wednesday, and then Thursday I'll go for an hour, Friday for an hour, and then Saturday I'll go fetch them.
Sure, that's a very exciting time, bro.
Yeah, scary. Scary, but yeah, we are super excited, and I think we'll make a very great team. I mean, we've been together for 10 years.
Yeah.
It's the love of my life, and I hope that I'm hers. I can't usually say that, but yeah, we've been a great team, and yeah, we can't wait to bring this little life.
What's the biggest lesson that you guys have learned as a couple through going through a pregnancy together, and especially during lockdown?
Jesse, communication. Communication, I mean, both of us are very stubborn. We want to do things our own way. I'm always the one that apologizes first.
I think most males are. I think it's a male thing to apologize first, because they're just like, you know what, I want to stop fighting. I'm sorry.
When it comes to women, they can ignore you for months on end. So,
we can't do that, bro.
You just have to. You have to put on your big boy pants, and you have to go apologize, even though you weren't in the wrong. And that solves everything.
Or you believe you weren't in the wrong. She believes you were.
Exactly. So when it comes to that, if I can give you a tip on that, apologize, communication, and yeah, just be there for her. I mean, it has been a difficult time. It was so uncertain, and just to put on record is we conceived before lockdown.
Okay.
So whoever calls my baby a lockdown baby,
at least the time frame will kind of work out, so people can try to work it out.
Yeah, no, definitely. We did work out. So it was before we even knew about a lockdown.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we were basically pregnant 3 weeks before the president.
How long into pregnancy did she find out?
We found out. At 4 weeks. She was four weeks pregnant. we did try before, and then the test showed negative. And then you know what, we just forgot about it, and we just kept on living our life with stress free. And we took the test and we received the great news and the biggest blessing.
That moment you went through, other than the excitement, what else went through your mind the moment you found out?
Yes, JC, it was just a surreal feeling, but I actually had a feeling that is going to be positive. I mean, it was the first time in my life that I actually knew, like deep down inside I knew, but I was ecstatic, man. I was jumping around, I was making backflips, I was doing cartwheels. So we obviously phoned her parents and my parents first to break the news to them, because we couldn't tell anyone. I mean, everybody was in lockdown, and they always say it's safe to only announce it after 12 weeks, because from day dot until week 12, that's the most crucial period.
But it's difficult. Once you hear those news, you just want to share it.
You just want to share it. I promise you, it's like when you buy a ring, you just want to get engaged.
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
Yeah.
So that's exactly the same feeling. I mean, you just want to tell the world, and to wait up until 12 weeks, it's
a long time.
Yes. So we announced on 12 weeks, and then we also obviously had to go see a specialist due to my problems when it comes to health. So we went to go see a professor in I think it was Mill Park, and he gave us great news that the baby's fine, heart's fine.
Is it an hereditary disease, or?
They say so, because my little nephew had his first surgery in 6 months.
Sure.
So they say it is, and that's news to me as well. I mean, maybe we can backtrack a little bit and see where
it came from.
Exactly. So he had his first surgery at 6 months old.
Shame.
And he's due for another one maybe next year or the year that follows. So, but I mean, at the end of the day, it hasn't changed who I am. It hasn't changed how I live. Obviously, just there's a few things you have to look out for. Like, you have to be cautious. I mean, you can't go be a daredevil, and you can't pick a fight with anybody that you want to. Not that I've ever been in a fight.
Yeah.
Surprisingly.
Yeah.
I mean, because I know the consequences of just slapping someone.
There isn't any point in getting in a fight. I've also never been in a fight.
JC, and I try to tell that to my clients every single time. It's not that you scared or smaller man or a wussy, like they would say. Just try to completely ignore any confrontation. I mean, the repercussions these days. Just by saying something bad to a person, they can take you to court. Hitting somebody with open hand, common assault. As soon as you use your fist, it's GBH. It stands for grievous bodily harm. I mean, you don't want to sit in court every week after a weekend. I mean, at the end of the day, you're going to have so many pending matters against your name and convicted for so many assaults that, I mean, you're going to have a record as long as a grocery list.
Yeah.
So
you've dealt with that quite a bit.
A lot. I mean, I deal a lot with common assault. Verbal abuse, harassment, and then obviously grievous body harm, attempted murder, all of those things. I mean, it's not worth it. It's really, really not worth it.
Sure. So going back to your training, how do you do something? Because I mean, you got great legs. How do you do something like legs? That obviously, when you do squats or whatever, your heart rate shoots up a lot more than any other body part. So how do you do those certain muscle groups and build the muscle and develop it so well without affecting your heart?
I'll say I've probably got the second best pair of legs, behind you. Because yes, Jesse, you're just a genetic freak. I mean, when it comes to legs, obviously, I think you've got probably one of the. I was actually so frustrated when I saw that comment of that guy made. I mean, I was like ready.
Fine.
I was like ready to stand up for you. I was almost going to summon that guy for criminal injury, defamation. But at the end of the day, just to get back to it, mad set of wheels you have there, JC.
Bro, thank you.
And I mean, I know what it takes to get legs that people can actually comment on. If you get what I'm saying,
yes.
I mean that's probably one of the things that you have to train the hardest. And when it comes to legs, I like to do legs twice a week, and my programs. It's quite hectic. I must say, my heart rate jumps up, but that's the one day out of the week where I really, really push myself. I'll usually go for arms the day after legs, just to I call it my rest day,
Yeah.
So I'll do a bit of arms after legs just to get back into that,
Not putting too much strain on your heart for
Exactly.
2 days in a row.
That I call it my comfort zone. Just knowing, okay, I had a grueling session, now I need to give my body some time to rest. Or usually after leg day, I will take off gym completely. And that's how I do it. I mean, there's no other way for your legs to grow if you don't push it to the limit.
And then rest afterwards.
Exactly. For me, I rest afterwards, but on legs, I don't compromise. My body must just push through it.
Yeah.
And it's so used to it now. So,
what's your favorite muscle group to train?
I'll say arms. I love doing arms and legs because I can actually walk out of the gym and get 300 points on my vitality because I've actually pushed myself to the limit.
Yes.
When it comes to legs, so a lot of people say, they hate training legs. I love training legs and I love training arms.
Yeah. I think the thing about legs is people hate training it, but the moment you finished it, it's a great feeling. It's a feeling of accomplishment and it's a feeling of, okay, I've really pushed my body to the limit, because that's what training legs is. And that's also, if you look at someone with great legs, then you say, okay, that person works hard. Whereas you see someone with big arms, it's difficult to tell, if they actually truly work hard.
And that's exactly how I see it. It's weird that you say it. It's exactly how I see it. I have a lot of respect for somebody that actually put effort and time into their legs. It's always been a thing in the fitness industry. There's so many jokes about guys with small legs and this and that. So for me, training legs, it's that sense of reward. When I wake up in the morning, I mustn't be able to walk. If you go sit down, you must have pain.
When you get onto the toilet, you have to lower yourself down with your arms.
Exactly. That is so rewarding for me, and that's like one day out of the week that I can actually say, you know what, I've pushed it hard. And like I said, I do it twice a week. If I go for a second time, it will usually be over the weekends. I don't go that hard because I know I already had a grueling session during the week. So
yeah. Well, bro, thank you so much for coming on. Good luck for Wednesday. This will be up tomorrow, so there's still one more day. Everyone go comment and wish Matthew good luck for the birth of his child.
Jesse, thanks for having me, bud. I really do appreciate it, and thank you for the wishes.
Of course, and tell your wife we're all rooting for her.
No, I'll definitely tell her. And thank you for your time. And
of course, bro. Thank you for coming through.
Only a pleasure.
And thanks to you guys for listening.
Thanks, Jesse.
Cool. Cheers.